Hey, this is Scott with ECRM, and we are here at one of our pharmacy sessions focusing on technology, automation, services, supplies, and I'm with Andy with Retail Business Services, which is more or less the overarching support hub of the various Ahold Delhaize banners or brands. Great to have you with us. You participated as one of our moderators in our thought interaction pods, and your topic was pharmacies 2028. You know, what is pharmacy going to look like in 10 years? And it looked like you guys had a really fantastic audience. You must have had, 30 folks that were sitting 2 or 3 deep, wanting to take part in that conversation. So just wanted to get your thoughts as far as what those conversations, what was discussed? What's it going to look like in 10 years?
It was amazing in 20 minutes how broad and how many topics we were able to touch upon. And we talked about a lot. There were a lot of different perspectives. We had distributors, we had retailers, we had folks involved from health systems. So everybody had a little bit of a different perspective, but we touched on a wide range of topics. Everything from PBMs and the challenges that we are seeing from them in terms of reimbursement and DIR fees, to telemedicine, telepharmacy, the potential for integration with electronic medical records and what that could mean to pharmacy practice if that were to take place, how that would affect our ability to influence patient outcomes in a way that we're not able to do today. Again, we hit on a wide variety of topics in that 20-minute time frame, from the PBM side, managed care side, all the way to the clinical side and outcomes.
Yeah, when you bring up all those various elements, it really makes you think, my gosh, pharmacy really does have the opportunity to look completely different, and the pharmacist's role be quite different than what it is today. Were there any comments that came out of that conversation that surprised you or were particularly insightful?
Yeah, we talked a lot about how our customers' expectations of us were changing and how expectations from the customer standpoint could look very different in 10 years from what they look today. And in that vein, we talked about delivery, we talked about mail, having scripts mailed, having curbside pickup available, because increasingly we see a customer population that's going to want what they want, when they want it, and how they want it. So omnichannel, it's a buzzword, but it's going to become a reality, and the customers are going to expect to have prescriptions available to them via mail, via delivery, via curbside quick pickup. But the interesting thing about that is, while in some ways pharmacy will be more impersonal, it's the face-to-face interaction that will continue to exist in retail pharmacy that offers a unique, and will continue to offer a unique point of differentiation to the rest of the healthcare and managed care industry. In that, if a health plan is trying to interact with their members, they do that through mail, through phone calls. The mail goes straight into the garbage. The phone calls very rarely get answered by a real person. So the ability for these increasingly more vertically integrated healthcare ecosystems, where you have a health plan that's integrated with a PBM, the ability when you have a vertically integrated system like that has pharmacy at its ground floor, the face-to-face interaction that exists and will continue to exist in our pharmacies, it offers an opportunity to influence patients and patient outcomes in a way that doesn't exist in other parts of the healthcare ecosystem. Patients are in our stores. I think the statistic I heard was 27 times per year versus seeing a doctor, 3 or 4 times a year. So there is tremendous opportunity for face-to-face interaction to continue to provide value to payers who are looking to minimize their total healthcare expenditure.
Yeah, that's a really surprising number when you put it that way. I wouldn't have thought that disparity, but yeah, it makes sense. The role of, well, let's just say that the new opportunity with telemedicine or telehealth, how do you see that affecting pharmacy? Do you think that that's going to be an accepted practice from a pharmacy perspective? And maybe not just in rural areas, but maybe, starting to get into more of the metropolitan space? Or do you see that, it's just not going to really take hold because of that face-to-face interaction being so important with that trust and relationship?
I think it's going to boil down to what does the patient want. And, we've seen patients already gravitate to telemedicine platforms and being able to interact with a physician through their cell phone, and it's made it easier and easier for them to meet with a physician on their time when it's convenient to them, and get that prescription that they need to feel better. So it'll be interesting as telemedicine continues to increase in adoption to see the effect that has on pharmacy. And if folks become more comfortable interacting with their pharmacist through a phone app, let's say, that will certainly be an opportunity for them and an opportunity for us to make sure that that's available in that way. But we'll continue to have folks, obviously, who prefer the face-to-face interaction with a pharmacist, and but it's going to be on their terms, and we're going to have a generation that's grown up with access to whatever they want at the touch of a finger, and that will no doubt have an impact on our industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, really appreciate it. It sounds like it was a very lively conversation. Sounds like a lot of good stuff came out of it. What was your personal perspective on these thought interaction pods?
I thought it was great. Like I'd mentioned before, there was a variety of perspectives around the table. That doesn't happen too often. Typically we are in our little niche with, for me, it's with other retailers. So being around a table with folks who have working in health systems, hearing what their challenges are and how they're trying to meet those challenges, distributors and vendors, we had a lot of great discussion, and it was nice to be able to facilitate that, and I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to do that.
Absolutely. Appreciate you moderating, developing such a popular and important topic. And, thanks for taking part.
Sure. Thank you, Scott.
All right. Thanks, Andy.